House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's moving ahead with a formal invitation to the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to give a joint address to Congress soon. It's expected to be a bipartisan invite and an overwhelming show of unity for Netanyahu as a prosecutor, the chief prosecutor, I should note, with the International Criminal Court says he plans to seek a warrant for Netanyahu's arrest for alleged war crimes in Gaza. But while most in Congress are standing against the ICC prosecutor and that announcement that he made to CNN's Christiane Amanpour, there is one prominent exception. He's my source tonight, Independent Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, welcome back to the source.
Good to be with you.
And thank you for being here. What do you make of Netanyahu coming to address Congress? Would you go to that?
It's a terrible idea. No, I won't go. Look, you have a prime minister who has created the worst humanitarian disaster in modern history. Israel, of course, had the right to defend itself against the Hamas terrorist attack. But what Netanyahu has done is gone to war against, all-out war, against the entire Palestinian people, women and children. 5% of the population is now dead or wounded. 60% of them are women and children. Some 200,000 housing units have been completely destroyed. Every university in Gaza has been bombed. There is now imminent starvation taking place. So why you would invite somebody who has done such horrific things to the Palestinian people is something that I think is a very bad idea.
Well, it's not just, Speaker Mike Johnson. Senator Schumer is on board with this.
Well, I strongly disagree. Look, what the ICC prosecutor has done is very important. What he has said is there must be, war is horrific in general. And I would hope that someday the human race might end war. But what he has said is there've got to be standards. And as you know, last year he went after Putin of Russia, who has kidnapped thousands of Ukrainian children and taken them to Russia. And he said, that's a war crime. Not to mention Putin starting the largest war in Europe since World War II. What he said about Sinwar, the head of Hamas, he said, this is the guy who started the war, committed a terrible atrocity on October 7th. He's a war criminal. He is a war criminal. But when Netanyahu goes to war against the entire Palestinian people, kills 35,000, wounds 77,000, destroys their healthcare system, their educational system, their civilian infrastructure. You know what? You got to have standards. And if you turn your back on that, then the next guy around the world comes and says, hey, we could destroy the whole thing. Let's do it. So
what do you make of what we heard on this? Because the common refrain to that and what President Biden has said is that it draws a false equivalence between Prime Minister Netanyahu and Yahya Sinwar.
I don't agree. No one, Netanyahu is the head of a democratic nation. He was elected. That's true. Sinwar is a terrorist, head of a terrorist organization. That's true. But what the ICC prosecutor looked at is what they have actually did, what they did. And what Sinwar did, what Hamas did, is, to my mind, a criminal violation of international law, no question about it. He's a war criminal. What Netanyahu is doing to the Palestinian people is different. But that is also, to my mind, a clear violation of international law.
Yeah, and we saw that video today of the female Israeli soldiers being tied up and bound.
Disgusting, disgusting. All right, but what Hamas is, what they did is horrific. They are a disgusting terrorist organization. End of discussion. Sinwar is a war criminal. But does that give the head of a modern, powerful, industrialized nation the right to go to war against the entire Palestinian people? I want to read you one thing, which is important. As you know, Defense Minister of Israel, Gallant, has also been, there's a warrant out for his arrest as well. This is what he said soon after October 7th. He said, quote, Defense Minister, quote, I have ordered a complete siege on the Gaza Strip. There will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals, and we are acting accordingly, end of quote. That is the Defense Minister of Israel. And you know what? That is exactly what they did. Yeah, today, there is no electricity.
We covered those comments, and we've covered also what's been happening, obviously, there. On this front, though, if those warrants are issued, countries that are a party to the ICC will have to arrest Netanyahu and Gallant if they go into those countries. I mean, would you be okay with?
Look, between you and me, I don't think Putin is going to get arrested. I don't think Sinwar is going to get arrested. I don't think Netanyahu is going to get arrested. But the world community has got to have certain standards or else we move into barbarism. And the next country at war will say, look what Israel did. Yeah, we're going to wipe out all the housing. We're going to starve all the children. Hey, that's okay. So what the ICC is trying to do, I think, importantly, in a crazy world, in a world of so much violence, trying to hold at least some minimum standards of what governments have got to do.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.